freedom from fuel, free Yeti cooler, free driveway delivery. Hey, this is Carl from Nebraska Golf Carts and Priced Right Auto, and we have the all-electric Bentelli Fun Carts, and they are a blast. Plenty of fun colors, and these street-legal carts come with both 4 and 6 passenger. Tell us you heard us on the ticket and get a free Yeti cooler with your purchase. Hurry, supply is limited. Check them out at 1235 West O in Lincoln or NebraskaGolfCarts.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone, and here with me is Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know the new Honda sales are going really good right now at Honda of Lincoln, and with that, a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in. Can you tell our listeners about your pre-owned selection?
I'm happy to, Charlie. Like you said, with new Honda sales going very good, we have a lot of fresh trade-ins coming in daily, and not just Hondas. We have just about every maker model you can imagine, with over 100 pre-owned and certified pre-owned to choose from, and prices starting at just $5,900.
Wow, what about financing?
We have financing as low as 3.29% APR on certified Accords and CRV.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Creekat, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Welcome into the LIBA Business Hour, sponsored by Nats to Tasseling, highlighting local independent businesses in and around Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, LIBA President and CEO, Bud Seinhorst.
Welcome to the LIBA Business Hour this week. We are getting some technical difficulties worked out this morning. I'm holding my mic because it fell off. So we're going to start out. Thank you to our show sponsor, Nats Detasseling. Earn cash, build character, Nats Detasseling. Learn more about Nats at notafraidtosweat.com. Our opening segment is sponsored by U-Stop. Earn points that spend like cash with the kickback card, which could get you snacks and even gas, available at all 24 U-Stop locations. You can join the conversation today. You can call or text the 402-464-5685, or you can listen on the 93.7 The Ticket app, theticketfm.com, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Allo Channel 951. All right, so we got a lot to go on this week. We got Carter with us today. Welcome to the LIBA Business Hour, Carter. It's good to have you here. We're happy to have you on the controls with us. We're going to kick off our first segment today, and I got my good friend Jim Ballard on here. And Jim and his wife, Barb, are quite the entrepreneurs here in Lincoln. They own James Arthur Vineyards from Nebraska Gift Shop, and there's been a few exciting developments here recently. So, first of all, Jim, welcome to the LIBA Business Hour. It's always fun to be here. So, let's start out real quick from Nebraska Gift Shop, downtown, about 8th and Q?
Right at 8th and Q, right in the heart of the Haymarket.
Right in the heart of the Haymarket, 8th and Q Street. So I'm going to guess you guys had a bit of a busy week this week.
It was a good week. You know, there's a little thing called Nebraska Volleyball Day that happened, and it was almost like a game day Saturday. I talked to Barb. She was down there most of the day, and she said it was a good day. Not quite as good as the Garth Brooks concert, but pretty much like a game day Saturday.
Wow, that's awesome. It's great to see that event, and I watched it on TV, and it was amazing to see 92,000 people in Memorial Stadium.
It was something else. Actually, I had the good fortune to be there, and the game was kind of anticlimactic, but the pomp and circumstance beforehand and afterwards was just incredible. It was an electric atmosphere, and I'd say maybe move all the games to Memorial Stadium. It was a
I'm sure Coach Cook wouldn't mind Coach Cook wouldn't mind the big crowds, and I'm sure Trev Alberts wouldn't mind the revenue.
There you
came from
go.
That. So
Good business
Yeah.
business plan.
very good business plan. Maybe put a dome over it for those November games.
Yeah, might get a little nippy in the
a little
winter
chilly
time.
that night. But okay, so now you at From Nebraska Gift Shop, you guys sell locally sourced, locally made products made in Nebraska. Kind of what was the reason you guys got behind that idea?
We've owned that now for about 9 years, I think, 8 or 9 years. And the whole genesis behind that, I was down in the Haymarket one day looking at a possible outlets. It was right after the arena was going up and getting started. And I looked at that area as a great opportunity to promote James Arthur Vineyards. And it was just getting discouraging. I couldn't find anywhere that was reasonable and it would work for us. And I walked in the From Nebraska Gift Shop, and we were friends with the owner at the time. And they were selling all Nebraska wines at that time. And I said, would you be interested in just renting me your space so I could sell our wine? And she was, well, I'm thinking about selling the whole store. And I'm like, huh.
That escalated quickly.
So it went really quick, and it was a great opportunity. She was ready to get out of the business. We were looking to do some expansion, and it was, they always say sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know, and timing is right. And that was just the perfect timing because, like I said, the arena was just getting started. And traffic and a lot of new restaurants were coming up downtown. The hotels were being built. It was a great move for us. So not only did we get a chance to promote James Arthur Vineyards, but we got a chance to buy a great store with a great product, great products. Being born and raised in Nebraska, people who are born here, live here, love this state. And if there's a Nebraska product and it's a good product, they're going to support it. And it's been fun to get all these different products in and meet so many entrepreneurs across the state of Nebraska. You'd be amazed at all the business people in Nebraska and all the small businesses that are out there creating great products. They just need a way to market it. And hopefully we've lent an opportunity or an avenue for them to do that.
It is awesome to see all the different products out there. And so I have friends all across the country. And so it's always fun to come in and do some shopping and send them gifts that are actually products made in Nebraska. And I think I've hooked a few people on some different kinds of wine and maybe some chocolates too, and even coffee. There's some great coffee, those kind of products. So let's talk a little bit about James Arthur Vineyards, because that's just a cool story in and of itself. And you led into that conversation well as we were talking about the gift shop, but talk about kind of the history of James Arthur Vineyards and what got you into the winemaking business, really.
Yeah, sure. The simple answer to that is we get a lot of people say, how in the world did you get started with a winery here in Nebraska? How are you growing grapes? And basically it's kind of a hobby that got a little out of control. We're getting ready to celebrate 26 years. Actually, September 13th of 1997 is when we opened our front door. So here in a couple of weeks, we'll be celebrating 26 years. I approached my father-in-law one day. I was all my degrees are in journalism. Go figure, because I didn't have to take any math or science in college. And if you know anything about winemaking, there's a little bit of math, there's a little bit of science involved. So I'm always on the fast track. But I approached my father-in-law, James Arthur Jeffers, one day, and I said, "Hey, you care if I put a few grapevines in for fun?" And he looked at me funny, but as a son-in-law, he looked at me funny a lot. But we threw a few hundred vines in. Started visiting some other wine areas. Missouri had a great wine industry starting at that time. Iowa was getting going. We were actually the second winery to start in the state of Nebraska. Pierce, Nebraska was the first. Cut Hills Vineyard, unfortunately, they're not in business anymore. But, we just looked at each other and said, you know what, if they can do it in Iowa, Missouri, Pierce, Nebraska, why not Raymond, Nebraska, of all places? So we threw in a few more hundred vines, got a few other crazy people to grow grapes with us. And, like I said, the rest is history. But the really cool thing about that is that over those 26 years, we've had visitors from every state in the country. We've had, last time I stopped tracking, we had over 55 foreign countries that we had visitors from. So we get to meet a lot of interesting people with a lot of great stories. We get to share our story about our family, how we got started. But most importantly, we get to share Nebraska product. And it's a fun product and people enjoy it. And again, being born, raised in Nebraska, it's amazing how Nebraskans love to support Nebraska products.
Absolutely. And I mean, and you guys have kind of taken that, I'll say, to a next level because it's not just about growing grapes and making wine. You have a lot of experiences that you do out there for people. You can come out and just chill out there and try different wines, whether it's inside, outside, inside by the fireplace, all of that. Talk about kind of some of the events that you do out at James Arthur.
Sure. And it took me a little while. It kind of hit me alongside of the head one day. I said, people want to see grapes being grown in Nebraska. They want to try our wines, but really what we sell out there is an experience. I mean, if we can provide a great experience, the wine's part of that, but also it's the camaraderie, the just sitting, like you said, sitting around the fireplace or sitting out by the waterfall and just enjoying life and being with people that you enjoy and trying a product that you enjoy. But we do a lot of different events out there, anything from murder mysteries to winemaker dinners. In fact, this Sunday we have the Raymond Car Show. We'll have about 150 cars out at our place, and then hundreds of people to come out and see those. So it's things like that we try to provide a great experience and an opportunity for people to come out and not just experience the grapes, the wine, but experience all that together, along with some great shows, some great opportunities, some great events.
Excellent. And you've also, not only on that side of that, creating those experiences, so people could come out, they could try the different wines, obviously purchase bottles of wine, but you've grown your product base too in the last, I want to say 5 to 10 years, just to cover my bases here. But it's been the evolution into the cider business now.
We've always tried, or are always trying to look at new markets. Other wineries have popped up, craft breweries have popped up, canned cocktails, different kind of drinks. And so there's competition out there. So we're always looking at how to expand our market, to create new markets, to create new products. If you're just trying to rely on what you've always done, you're not going to survive very long. And about 9 years ago, when my father-in-law first bought the property, he put up a bunch of apple trees. He was going to do a You Pick Apple program. But when the winery started, that kind of fell to the side. And I was looking at like Angry Orchard and some of these others, apple hard cider products. I'm like, shoot, that's just basically apple wine that's carbonated. We can do that. And so we started Curveball Cider. Talk about covering your bases earlier. That was that was
well played, wasn't it?
Curveball Cider, and that's been a lot of fun because we get to experiment with different flavors. We have our base cider, and then we have a mango and a blackberry. We just brought out, Bud, you'll like this. We do a rosé cider. I took that rosé and I added a little peanut butter flavoring to it. So now I got a peanut butter and jelly cider. So that's fun.
Wow.
And it's fun to create those products and to market those products. And again, just to do some new things out there. We tried seltzer, we tried wine in a can. I think we're a little ahead of the curve on those two things, but so we're always trying to open up new products or new markets with new products, and always trying to look at how can we utilize what we do, what we make, and get new customers.
Excellent. So I read in the paper recently that you're looking at a new business venture out there. Tell us a little bit about what that new business venture is.
You bet. Again, just looking at new markets and what this community might need. The other thing about it is we're a small family business, and as our kids start to get more involved in the business, we have to create, again, other avenues to get them involved as well. So we started looking around a couple of things. One is I think there's a lack of event spaces here in Lincoln, and a lot of I'll use weddings as an example. A lot of future brides I talk to, sometimes they're booking their venues 2 or 3 years out. They may even be dating anyone, but they're booking their venues because
that's a little presumptuous.
Because
Carter, beware. Carter's a strapping young college lad. We want to give him that warning.
it's because those fill up so fast, and there's a need for that. So we've talked about it for a few years now, and I swear I'd never get into the big events business, but I think there's a need for that, and it's a way again to expand our business, bring more family members into our business to help run that. And so we're looking at an event space that would not only hold events for wedding receptions, but also fundraisers, reunions, special events for different organizations and corporations. So we're looking at doing about a 300 seat facility and putting it right there on the property. And also that's a great way to market our product because, if there's going to be alcohol served at that wedding reception or that fundraiser, guess who it's going to be?
You happen to have some of that available.
So that's just another way for us to market our product and to sell our product. The other thing and this is more of a passion, my son and I have really started to enjoy some of the finer bourbons in life, or spirits.
You're speaking my language now. You know that.
And I think that will be the next big thing to take off in the state of Nebraska is craft distilleries. And so we're looking at possibly putting up a distillery. Again, we have the raw product. If you look at what bourbon's made of, a little bit of corn goes into that. So yeah,
a little bit. I might be able to help you find some places with a little corn.
We're in the middle of corn country. And so I think that's a great opportunity. Plus there's a lot of products you can make from wine as well. You can distill wine. And so brandy and some other, grape vodka, things of that nature, there's some opportunities there for us to use our product again, to expand our product base. Again, if we get this event center up, there's another avenue for sales of that. So our goal, as we're working through this project, and I was hoping it would be more of a sprint, but it's kind of turning into a marathon, trying to get everything done zoning wise and working with the county. And we're getting there. It's been a great cooperation. A lot of people are excited about it, but again, we've got to follow the rules, regulations. And there were some things in the county that didn't allow for a distillery, especially if you already own a winery. So we've been working through all that and getting to a point where we're about ready to seriously look at getting this building put up.
That's exciting. And it's exciting to see that. And we see this with so many of our LIBA members is, it starts over here and then it just continues to grow the business, expand the business, find new opportunities and all of that. So I think it's great to see over the last 26 years how well you've kind of evolved and done those kind of things. So just so our listeners know, first of all, we got to make sure we get the websites in. So let's get the websites in so people know your websites.
FromNebraska.com, JamesArthurVineyards.com. And then we didn't mention earlier, the From Nebraska shop, there's nothing like expanding your business during a pandemic, but we had already started that process when COVID hit. And so we're not only From Nebraska gift shop, but we also have the Haymarket Mercantile down there, which is a true gift shop and beautiful product. And then we have a year-round Christmas store down there too. That is probably, when you look at our business down there, that is probably the most profitable, most popular part of our business. Is that we've actually just expanded our Christmas shop offerings. We moved some things around and we expanded that area. It's amazing how people love Christmas.
Oh,
and,
man, year round.
So I wanted to throw that in there too,
absolutely.
Because that's something that, from what I understand, I think now that we have our footprint down there is the largest gift shop in the city right now. So,
and people, you can ship too.
Yeah,
you will ship. Trust me, I know. But you can go online, do an order, and you can ship wine. And can you ship your seltzer or your ciders?
We can. We don't encourage it, but we can do anything people want.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. And we love doing that. And the other cool thing about what's been happening down at that store is business to business. We're getting a lot of businesses calling us and say, hey, we've got customers here. We've got customers there. Can we ship to them? Can we put together baskets? And like I said, we try to make it as easy and as painless as possible. We've had companies come and say, hey, we need to ship 300 baskets here in the next 3 weeks. Can we do it? And it's like, hey, yeah,
yes.
We can do it. We can make it happen. I just make my wife work 24 hours a day, but
well, if Barb is listening, she'll be correcting you when you get home today.
Yeah, we know how that works.
So, well, that's awesome. So you got a lot going on and continuing to evolve your business. You've got the event space coming, and then potentially the distillery coming. And, you said you thought it'd be a sprint and it's becoming a marathon. I always say nothing quick happens in government. Or nothing in government happens quickly. In business, we can react and we can respond. But when we get the government involved, sometimes it delays the process, shall we say.
Yes, it's slowed things down, but we went in front of the county board last week and everything was approved. And so I think now we just have to get everything in order and start working down that path. But yeah, no, Bud, I'm at the age where some mornings I get up and think, man, I should just retire and move to some beach somewhere and be drinking margaritas on the sand. But most mornings I wake up and think, man, what can I do today to make our business better? What can I do today to provide a service to this community? I mean, what can I do to, and I think that's just, people who are entrepreneurs, most of us are always looking at how to expand, how to make things better and what opportunities are out there. And sometimes we can be a little stubborn too. So, and we can make things happen.
That's why you become successful too. I mean, that's honestly, when you look at entrepreneurship, you've got people that are looking at the future. They're looking at new ideas. They're always expanding. I always like to say entrepreneurs never sleep and their mind never stops working because they always have those kind of things happening. So a lot of fun things. Check them out. They've got a lot of great events out there. And since Jim is on, I will just remind everybody two things. On September 23rd, we're having our annual LIBA tailgate right there on the dock in front of From Nebraska Gift Shop. You'll just be able to probably follow the smell of all the great stuff we're grilling down there. And number two, in November, on November 13th, we're going to be out at James Arthur Vineyards for our murder mystery, which are always fun events. So I'm looking forward to that. And here's what I love about it. Jim's a very humble guy. I'll give him this shout out as we wrap up the segment. Jim writes all of the murder mysteries that come out of there. So he's a very creative guy. They're really fun. And the folks that he has out there, like, you have to pay attention because those folks are actually, like, the people that are serving the food and stuff, they're actually characters in this murder mystery. And so you don't even know. So I won't get too deep into the first one that we had out there, but I showed up and Jim started telling me some stuff and I'm like, cool, no worries, whatever. Then I sit down, I'm like, oh, wait, this is what's actually this, like, so it's interactive. You've got family style meals out there and you and your little group get to try to solve the murder mystery. It's our own little game of Clue, I guess we'll call it. So it's great to do that. And thank you for all you do for the community and for promote Nebraska and products in Nebraska. So this is Jim Ballard with James Arthur Vineyards from Nebraska Gift Shop, and also look forward to their new event space out there on the property, as well as their distillery. Jim, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll be back after this on the LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket.
September is National Literacy Month, a time to encourage the young people in your life to go to the library, pick up a good book, and explore new worlds. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. By getting books in the hands of kids, we can engage these young readers in their learning and help them see how school, community, and the world beyond are connected.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them. right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive? Do you want help navigating the application or appeals process? Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. You've served our country, now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This segment sponsored by Ascend Aesthetics.
Welcome back to the LIBA Business Hour. This segment sponsored by Integrated Behavioral Health Services, built stronger, healthier community through advocacy, inclusion, perseverance, unity, and compassion. Learn more at ibhealthservices.com. All right, here for our second segment today, we have Katie Martin with us. Katie, be careful, you're on YouTube, by the way, so all your hand gestures are on YouTube. Forgot to tell you that
I'm
part.
excited to be
Oops.
here. Excited to be here.
Good to have you. So you are with Lee and Associates, correct?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So let's kick off. Just tell us a little bit about Lee and Associates and what you do with them.
Sure. So Lee and Associates Nebraska is a commercial real estate brokerage. It started in Omaha. So the initial brokerage started in Omaha, and there is now a secondary brokerage or second office here in Lincoln, in the Telegraph District. So really excited to be a part of the Lincoln community by offering some commercial real estate services.
Excellent. So you're in the Telegraph District. That seems to be kind of a rising area, I would call it, or a developing area. So what are some of the spaces that you guys have down there? And like, what kind of space are we talking? Apartments, offices, all that kind of stuff. What kind of space do you have down there?
Yeah, so you're right. The Telegraph District is definitely, it's new. It's got that fun vibe for Lincoln. It's bringing the work, live, play concept together. Our office is actually down there. So we believe in that district very much, along with Speedway and Nelnet, and everything that they've put into the district as well. So currently, I think everyone knows the Mill is hopping on that corner, kind of like the principal, the flagship, if you will. So the Mill is down there. And then you've got the apartments. The apartments, believe it or not, are actually at capacity. So that live, work, play idea has really taken off. And then you've got your great commercial spaces. So you've got Journal Star and Shemmer. I already mentioned the Nelnet Aloe crew. So they're already down there in the area. Open Harvest has committed to a grocery store in Telegraph.
Nice.
And we are working along in partnership with Speedway to really bring some entertainment and some great restaurant concepts, maybe a tap room. So bringing that district to life with entertainment, food, beverages, etc.
Excellent. So you mentioned something when you were talking about those spaces, and you were talking about live, work, play. So talk about, kind of help us, everybody understand, when you say live, work, play, what kind of things are you talking about? What is your ultimate goal here?
Yeah, so the it definitely is Lincoln's first live, work, play concept. I would maybe argue that Village Gardens has kind of that same type of feel, or even Fallbrook, now that it's there's more action going on in that Fallbrook area. But the live, work, play, so the apartments are there, and then the concept, especially with work from home, is that you can work in these apartments, and the play, of course, is then access, walkability, the bike paths, everything that the city has done with, of course, the Antelope Creek project. So you literally have your own little village inside of our city.
Excellent. So you can kind of just walk out of your apartment, go do different things, whether it's a tap room, coffee, a restaurant, the grocery down there, have an open harvest down there, those kind of things.
You can get a workout in, don't forget, on the corner.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
there's the workout corner.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
They used to
Lotus
do
and stuff.
during the pandemic, they were doing cycling classes, or
Yeah.
I'm losing the word there.
Yep.
But they were doing those outside. And
I forgot
there was a
about
group of us sitting outside drinking coffee. And they're like, hey, you guys can come over. We're like, have you seen us? We're not going to get into that class. Spin class. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes,
Sorry.
spin cycling class.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
got to it.
forgot that they were outside.
Yeah. So you guys are really trying to create an atmosphere in that Telegraph District area that's got a vibe where you can, if you're working from home, you can have a nice space to live. You can work from home. If you need to meet somebody for coffee, or, just get out of the house and work there, you can do that. The entertainment district. So when you talk about kind of entertainment type things, what kind of entertainment are you talking about?
So I think for me, so I'm a Southsider, right? Like, live in the South Side of Lincoln. And the advantage to Telegraph with entertainment and food is we have the advantage of being downtown, but yet not downtown, right? So like, you don't have to go all the way to the Haymarket, but yet you
Don't
have
say
a
that
different
too loud,
feel.
because Ballard would want you to come to the Haymarket.
I
too.
love going to the Haymarket, but some people on a Friday night are like, maybe I don't want to go to the Haymarket. So you have these advantages of being not quite downtown, but on the fringe, and you can see the university. So the entertainment idea would be food, drinks, other just entertainment concepts. We're very, very close to having a really cool entertainment concept. Hopefully we can announce that soon, and then the world will
Awesome.
know. But so just being able to get people from the South Side or even the North Side, bring them downtown. I'm a firm believer, if you can get someone to 21st and Capitol Parkway, you can get anyone downtown to the Haymarket, or, to soak up some food at Dish. But we've got some great parking down at Telegraph. They've committed to that. So it's just a really nice little entertainment area.
Give us kind of the geography. I think everybody interprets Telegraph District in different ways. So when you talk about the Telegraph District, like, give us kind of some coordinates so we can kind of understand that area that you're talking.
So for me, when I'm talking about Telegraph, I usually start right about at the mill, at that corner. I think that's a really good hard corner to start. So you've got
21st and K.
Lotus, and then you've got the mill. And then when you head north, that's where you run right into the district itself. So you've got the apartments, the buildings, they both L shape, and that gets you to N on the north side. So that for me is Telegraph. The website itself is really cool. If you haven't visited that recently, it talks about not only who's down there, but who the neighbors are. So, you think about neighbors of like Code, that's probably a neighbor, not necessarily in the district, but right there.
You stop right across the street there is a neighbor.
Is a neighbor, absolutely. So you've got the neighbors, and then you've got the district itself. Off Leash Bar is a recent addition down there. Brandon's done a great job at Off Leash.
So how far can you expand in that area? Because it seems like you got ball fields, you got O Street, you got to the west. I mean, you can get to close to 17th, maybe, but
Mhm.
maybe not quite that far because you've got little things like that. So, like, what's kind of that vision for expanding that area?
There is more land available down there if when expansion makes sense. I'm with you though. I agree that it's just a district, and everyone has to kind of be okay with
Yeah.
knowing like it's its own little hub, it's its own little district, and they're going to stay true to that. But there will be the ability to add on or to put in new things.
Excellent. And so you said you're working on a tap room too. Did I hear you say that?
Hopefully, I think a tap room would do great downtown. Restaurant concepts, maybe a sports bar. So we're working really hard, like I mentioned, along with Speedway, to bring in some people that helps drive all that traffic down to Telegraph and then further
Excellent.
downtown into the Haymarket.
Excellent. So, if we're sitting here, let's say 5-7 years from now, what would you what would you think the vibe would be, and how would that look, and kind of like kind of that vision of what the Telegraph District is for Lincoln?
Yeah. I mean, my vision, and hopefully this would be everyone else's along with yours, would be that the entertainment district itself is exactly what Lincoln needs and wants. So restaurant concepts, we've mentioned a tap room, maybe a gym. There's actually a really, really cool warehouse that sits a little bit to the west of like where the Lean Associates office is. I mean, I think a rooftop bar there, or a concept that would have a couple of that's newer to Lincoln, right? We have Barry's, but as a whole, I think the entire area can be built out with restaurants and concepts that matches anyone's needs, whether it's fine dining, sports bar, tap room, maybe like wine and cocktails. I mentioned health and fitness. So just anything that has walkability. You can step out of your apartment, you can walk or bike
5 to 7 minutes and you're
anywhere.
at anything. Yeah.
Yeah, you can walk or bike anywhere, and it's your own little town right
So
there.
there's some cool concepts like this, I think, around the country. Having traveled around the country, there's a lot of cool places. Is there like a certain place where you've been to that you think, man, that's what I'd love to see in the Telegraph District?
Oh, that's a really good question. I love a neighborhood feel, like a neighborhood feel where you can step out of your office. For us, right? Like I can step out of my office and I can walk to the mill. I think one city, that's a really good question.
So like
What's in
I'm
the back of
thinking,
your mind?
in the back of my mind, I'm thinking Exarban Village up
That's a
in
good choice.
Omaha.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they have this, because you've got commercial, like Blue Cross Blue Shield is right in that area. You've got UNO right in that area. But then you've also got things like little restaurants and unique restaurants, not your chain, your local, like you mentioned Dish,
Yeah.
like that kind of restaurant. But then they also have like Friday nights, they have music and all this kind of stuff. I mean, they do some of that during the summer, like at South Point too.
Yep.
But I'm just thinking kind of from a city vibe, and we're starting to see some more of those visions of kind of that bigger city vibe. And I'll give DP and Rebecca a shout out, because that's kind of like, that's what that's how I feel with the new station. That they're building down at 11th and O Street. To me, it's that big city station where people can walk by and look in the window, and we're going to be like zoo animals. They can look in and they can't feed us, and they can't reach through the gate and pet us. But like, that's like, to me, that's kind of a bigger city vibe. That's like, I don't even think there's something like that in Omaha. And so I'm thinking like a Chicago, a New York,
I was going to
Denver,
mention
LA,
Chicago, just the
those kind of
walkability.
things. And so like, that's kind of a little bit of what you're talking about, like Exarban Village in Omaha is one that comes to mind, because usually when I'm traveling the country, I'm not like in those neighborhoods. So I just was wondering if there are some places maybe that you kind of have been or maybe seen that you think make sense.
So I can't believe I'm saying this specifically because we're going to play Colorado, but the Boulder vibe.
That's it. This segment's over.
Well, it came to mind.
We're not talking about
it. I can't believe I just said that.
I know.
But if you think about the walkability of Boulder,
I can see that.
There's not the cars there, but just thinking about, it's pretty comfortable once you get into Boulder, and you can grab a bike. You can go tour the university when you're there. Not that anybody wants to tour the University of Colorado, but
Just don't wear red.
Oh, I'll absolutely wear red. Definitely wear red. But you've got the boutique shops, so everything from boutique to, as you mentioned, like your nationals. There's food and entertainment, and the walkability of that I think is really fun in Boulder.
Awesome. So how can they learn more about what's going on down at the Telegraph District or about Lee and Associates?
Yeah, so I mentioned the website. I think that website that has been built is really great for Telegraph. Whether you want to know what restaurants are there, what businesses have moved. We haven't mentioned Shemmer or Lincoln Journal-Star. That was a huge move for the Journal-Star to go in there.
Yeah.
So just to know what's going on around town, the website is great. And then as new restaurants, concepts, or anything like that come in, they'll be on the website. Lee and Associates, super easy. Just hop on our website, leeandassociates.com, and happy to help in any way that we can grow Lincoln.
Excellent. Look for Katie on the leeandassociates.com website. She can tell you what's happening down in that Telegraph District. Katie, thank you very much for coming on and being on the LIBA Business Hour. We both survived the LIBA golf tournament yesterday.
We did.
I think there might be a nap in my future today, but that's neither here nor there. So we appreciate you being here. Thanks for doing that. Keep us posted on what's happening in the Telegraph District, and we'll be back after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We keep riding, and if you wanna come and text us,
If you love them enough to turn on your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Old School with DP and J.
Earning a black shirt is a great honor. I mean, obviously you got coaches that haven't been here before, but at the end of the day, they understand somewhat of what it means. And the majority of the guys, or the guys that got them, they must be doing something right. For me personally, that was just something I never forgot, man. It was just when I was on campus, because I never envisioned myself doing anything until my senior year.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This school year's in full swing. Students are back in the class learning, making new friends, and developing new interests. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Parents, communication is key to helping your student maintain a strong start to the school year. Whether your student is in high school or navigating the new world of kindergarten, keep an open dialogue about what they're learning and how they are growing.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
September is National Literacy Month, a time to encourage the young people in your life to go to the library, pick up a good book, and explore new worlds. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. By getting books in the hands of kids, we can engage these young readers in their learning and help them see how school, community, and the world beyond are connected.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
When you're high, you feel different. Think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Back to the LIBA Business Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This segment sponsored by Ascend Aesthetics.
We are back here on the LIBA Business Hour. This segment is sponsored by Ascend Aesthetics. Lose inches and gain confidence with the medical weight loss and body contouring clinic at Ascend Aesthetics. Learn more at slimdowne.com. So wrapping up this week, I thought just this segment talk a little bit about all the things that have gone on here in the last, literally just the last week. So last Saturday we had our show actually was the show that was able to go live at the Lincoln Air Show, the Guardians of Freedom. I saw this week just blew the doors off the record for attendance out there at the air show. 340,000 people attended the Lincoln Air Show over those 2 days. That's unbelievable. I was out there last Saturday. I stayed out there after the show. And I mean, literally the reason we couldn't keep broadcasting from out there is there was so much of a drain on cell service and all of that it overwhelmed the system. So kudos to everybody that put on the Lincoln Air Show. All the different acts that came in. Obviously the Blue Angels are the star of the show, but watching so many of those different acts that were performers that were part of this air show was just amazing. So then we take the air show on Saturday and Sunday with 340,000 people. And then on Wednesday night, in true Nebraska fashion, over 92,000 people show up at the Volleyball Day in Nebraska, which was just an amazing sight to behold. I watched it on TV. I did not go downtown for that, but it was just it was amazing to watch and to see all of those people show up. I mean, there was a huge vision. And I think sometimes, kudos to the university, to Coach Cook, to the athletic administration for what they did to promote this. I loved that obviously, I love they had UNK because, go Lopers. I'm an alum. It's been a rough week to be an alum, but they had UNK, they had Wayne State, they had UNO, and they had Nebraska. It was truly, kind of a university, local college atmosphere, but it was a great opportunity for those young women to be a part of something that they can talk about for generations. They set the NCAA volleyball attendance record. They set the attendance record for a women's sporting event in the United States. They set a world record for attendance at a women's sporting event. And oh, by the way, for those of you keeping track at home, they set a record for the largest crowd to see an athletic event in Memorial Stadium. So that record now, I'm guessing Coach Rule's going to have to do a little work so we can get that record broken. But that's a huge thing. And I think the cool thing to be able to watch on TV was at the end when they were interviewing Coach Cook and they were talking to the players and they were showing, I'll just call it the dance party that happened at the end. But the emotion for those young women, and I think, we're celebrating 50 years of Title IX. That opportunity for those women to play in that kind of an atmosphere is just it's amazing. I got 3 girls, and as a girl dad, it was just really cool to watch. So congratulations to the university, Coach Cook, those women, the administration, everybody that came together to make that happen. And to see Memorial Stadium turn into a volleyball court was just a little different in the picture. So that was awesome. Followed it up Thursday night, opening night of the football season. I know there were a lot of local restaurants, bars, places that were showing the game. And I stopped in, actually picked up dinner and stopped in and saw a couple of those. And it was amazing to see what was happening right here in Lincoln. So there's a little bit of an excitement. I'm glad to hear that downtown was like a football game day for volleyball day in Nebraska. Amazing. Yesterday we had our LIBA Foundation golf outing. Where the LIBA Foundation goes out, raises money for scholarships for students in Lincoln and Lancaster County to go attend college in Nebraska. We had a full field. We had a great day. Thank God for the win. And then, now we're off. Football season's off and running. Next weekend, the team is going to regroup and head to Colorado. So I'm sure there'll be lots of people heading out to the local bars and restaurants for a nice brunch next Saturday. But it's really fun to see that atmosphere and see those things come together and seeing all of that, because all of those things, the reason I talk about all of those things is what they do to drive our local economy here in Lincoln. And, it's paying those employees. It's helping those business owners be successful. That money just keeps getting spent around Lincoln. So once you spend $1 in Lincoln, it's going around town about 7 or 8 times. So all that money that was flowing around Lincoln, it's huge for our local economy. It's huge for our local businesses. I hope we can keep it up throughout the rest of the year. There's a lot of different things on economics that are being talked about nationally on what's going to happen to the economy. So the more we can do to support those local businesses, the better off we are. And get downtown. It's going to be, 2 weeks now, we're going to have our first home game. So 2 weeks from today, I believe that's a night game. So we'll have plenty of time that day to go down and tailgate, support local business, and just create that atmosphere again. And I think Memorial Stadium on the 16th is going to be kind of like it was in a similar but different way than it was in volleyball night in Nebraska. And then also, because I never want to miss an opportunity to give a shout out to my alma mater, UNK. This Wednesday night, they're going to break the Division II. Their goal is to break the Division II attendance record. So if you know anybody out in the Kearney area, tell them 6 o'clock Wednesday night. The Lopers are going to go and try and break that record as well. So, and that's really kind of a good testament to what volleyball is like in the state of Nebraska. So that'll be fun. I'll be headed out west on Wednesday night to help do my part to bring my 2 daughters with me and my wife to try to help break that record. So it's fun to see that Nebraska is doing that. So, and then it is always good for the local economy. So, as we wrap up our show today, our final word is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Help student athletes excel within the NIL, name, image, and likeness landscape. Learn about how you can get involved at 1890nebraska.com. So, number one announcement is next Saturday, because of the pregame stuff here on the ticket, the pregame show. The LIBA Business Hour is actually going to air from 6 to 7 a.m. So 6 to 7 a.m. next Saturday. Get up, grab your coffee, and we'll get ready before the pregame, before the Colorado football game. Next week, we're going to have Courtney and Braden McLaughlin are going to be in on the show. 2 different, a husband and wife, 2 different businesses, 2 different entrepreneurial mindsets. It's really cool to see all the awesome things that they're doing. I want to thank Jim Ballard and Katie Martin for coming on the show today. We really appreciate them talking about From Nebraska Gift Shop, James Arthur Vineyards, their new event space, and Katie with all the things that are going on out at the Telegraph District. They're really trying to create a really vibrant district in that area. So check that out. Check out and see what they're doing. We'll see you next week on the LIBA Business Hour. Again, remember, 6 to 7 a.m. next Saturday ahead of the pregame coverage here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.